Hi guys, it's nice to be here in front of you again. Today I like to talk about fine-tuning. I've often heard people say to Abraham, tell me about fine-tuning. How do I go about it? And that it's a difficult one because it all depends on where on the emotional scale you are. And you can always, regardless of where you are, you can always fine-tune to feel a little better, be a little bit more connected with Source, with your inner being. But the whole concept of fine-tuning comes about from a position where there's something to fine-tune to. So it is that concept of being aware of the frequencies that we are operating on, being aware of where we are and where we want to be, being able to turn that dial to enable us to be more deliberate in the way that we create. So if you accept that we are powerful creators and we are able to deliberately create, then the sort of whole thing about fine-tuning becomes very important, because this is basically where you in your everyday life will be doing your work. And this is our work, because most of us who are here and listening to this channel, we are just about to see the most amazing thing in the way that we've been working with fine-tuning and with our vibration to actually see things happening really quickly, things changing towards something that we have been wanting for a long time. We also experiencing a lot of upheaval as well, which is of course part of the human condition. So there is no such thing of being in a constant state. Everything is moving, everything is changing. What we are seeing is that we are able to stay more stable in a vibration and be aware of that vibration and fine-tuning whenever we need to. So fine-tuning is a really powerful thing to understand and to get our heads around, and a great tool when it comes to adjusting our frequencies or adjusting our state because of being. And what I wanted to say with that is ultimately what we are doing is adjusting that connection that we have to Source. We also call Source our inner being, and I say rightly so, because Source is inside us, so Source is everywhere, and very often we tend to see Source as something separate from us. When we see Source as our inner being, we know that it is an aspect of ourselves that we are tuning into. And somewhere along the line, if you accept that the natural state of being is joy, is connectedness, is abundance, is love and compassion, somewhere along the line we got disconnected from all that, and we know inside ourselves somewhere that connection is there. And we also understand when Abraham says that, and when we feel that resonate with us, that yes, definitely, natural state of being is joy, is abundance. The cork popping up, it's just that we are holding that cork underneath the water. And so when we talk about fine-tuning, we are talking about re-establishing that connection to who we really are. And this is where we start to understand that source, our inner being, is nothing separate to us. It is nothing external as such. It is something that is a part of us, and it is us. I have sometimes said, the inner being, me and my inner being, and me and my inner being is the big we. And that is one way of just seeing that merging of the source connection, the source energy inside yourself, is to see yourself and source as one. I know we can get a little bit abstract, but the reason why I'm saying that is that we are starting now to move towards a time where we are starting to believe more in ourselves, trust in ourselves, saying nice things to ourselves, letting go of fear, letting go of doubt. And we are basically, in doing so, connecting to that part of us which is source, connecting to our inner being, and we are starting to operate as one. And that is where you will gradually feel the fear disappear, the doubt disappear. And again, it is a process. So it is working step by step to re-establishing that. And I know we've just talked about doubt in the last video, and so here I like to, in terms of the fine-tuning thing, just talk a little bit about fear, because I've found that fear is one of the most significant ways that we actually disconnect ourselves from source, and source is saying to us, no, that is nothing to fear. Try and feel that fear and go through it, and just imagine that freedom, that love coming in instead, and try and act from there instead. Fear is what creates wars. Fear is what creates discord in so many ways. When we act from that particular state, we often do things that we didn't want to do. If we can just again be aware when we act from fear, switch that to say, hey, other ways, deep breath in, feel that fear, let it flow through you, and start to replace that with love. Another example is when we are in relationships and we react in a way that's not unconditional. So when we in relationships behave in ways and we interact in ways where that are unconditional, it is basically that love, that unconditional love that is flowing through us. But once it starts to become conditional, and that has been default for so long, hundreds and hundreds of years, once we start to let go of that conditional love, that is basically based on fear as well. The conditional love is based on fear, because we are afraid of this and that happening. and we are basically putting conditions on the other person in order to protect ourselves, in order to protect a flawed premise, really. And instead what we are doing, we are setting up barriers for things to flow. So with the fine-tuning, that is all about understanding that the natural state is flow, the natural state is joy, the natural state is unconditional love and compassion, and become more and more accustomed, aware of that concept as a norm, and waving goodbye to fear, waving goodbye to doubt. And I know it sounds in a way that I'm saying it here as if it's an easy thing to do. It takes practice, it does. And that practice is the fine-tuning, okay? The fine-tuning is your practice. And another time I will talk more detailed about what we can do to fine-tune. But here I just wanted to just grapple with this concept of fine-tuning. And I hope it's not been too confusing, because it is a really down-to-earth concept as well, and one that we can all start doing today, just by being aware of that process. So hopefully you found this useful, and it's been really nice to talk to you again. So have a lovely day, and thank you for being here. Bye for now.